I even have my own personal story. I was working out and felt a little pop in my back and didn't feel so hot for the day. And then it kind of simmered down the next day. And I scheduled a PT visit and I was going to see my PT and wasn't seeing a ton of progress or relief. And so they're like, well, maybe we get some imaging done, go see a specialist. And I was kind of excited about it because I talk about these things all the time, and I'm like, I really haven't had a lot of interactions with the healthcare system, and so I was just rolling with it. They're like, we normally refer to, an independent orthopedic practice, university. So I decided to go to our university, sports medicine, and right as they slap that band on your wrist and you go through the rigmarole. And at this point, like, I knew the specialist that they were sending me to. I mean, they were hyping him up a bunch, and I spoke with a PA. They're like, let's get an x-ray done. Let's get an MRI done. I'm like, okay, fine with the x-ray. They went over the x-ray results with me, and they're like, yeah, we think you have a hip impingement, which that's what kind of the PT thought that it could have been too. So we already kind of clarified that. And they're like, let's do an MRI to see if your labrum's torn. And I was like, yeah, let's see a quote on the MRI. I knew there was going to be big dollar signs, and it was going to be $1,800 for that MRI. And I'm like, well, I'd actually prefer to go to our independent radiology back in Cedar Rapids. And I submitted an online, cost estimator, and I think it was $750 through my health plan. And then I quoted a separate ticket for cash pay, and it was like $950. And I called them. I'm like, hey, why is your cash pay higher than your insurance? I can just pay you right at time of service. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't seem right. We'll just match the $750. I'm like, oh, well, that was easy. And then I called my direct primary care doctor buddy, and he was like, well, I can actually get that for $450. So it's like, how do you start from $1,800 to now $450? And then just the extra rigmarole that they were even going to have me go through after we confirmed that the labrum was torn. The CT scan that they wanted to do, and then the additional therapies with the injections with the hip joint. And it just seemed like it was over and above. And I ended up getting a second opinion. Like, let's just state the facts here. You got a hip impingement, your labrum's torn. Is it inhibiting your everyday life? I'm like, yes, I need to get this surgery. Like, I want to go back to lifting and running and all these things. So, all right, well, let's do the surgery. And then that's a whole nother story of, the facility costs, the physician costs, and, quoting different options. And I mean, I saw as high as, 50 or 60,000 and as low as, 20,000. And again, just cost and quality all across the board between health centers and independent orthopedic practices.
It is the most confusing thing, and it makes no sense. And that cash price, when you started with your 1,800, I was going to tell you to check our website because our MRIs are 450, which is exactly where you landed. And we're not losing money at 450, by the way.